The morning of the 19th of June, 1867, breaks over a hill called Cerro de las Campanas, the Hill of the Bells, just outside Querétaro, Mexico. 3 men in black stand before a firing squad. One of them is a European archduke, 34 years old, with a carefully trimmed beard and aristocratic bearing. He hands each executioner a gold coin and makes one final request. Aim for the heart, not the head, so his mother can see his face one last time. At 6:40 inches the morning, he delivers his last words in Spanish. I forgive everyone, and I ask everyone to forgive me. May my blood, which is about to be shed, be for the good of the country. Viva Mexico! Viva la Independencia! The rifles fire. But the story of how an Austrian prince came to die on a Mexican hillside, abandoned by the French Empire that put him there, begins 6 years earlier, with a debt crisis, an emperor's ambition, and a war that would doom 3 lives forever. Mexico City. The 1st of January, 1861. A stocky man in a black suit rides through dusty streets. No parade, no celebration. This is Benito Juárez. Born in a Zapotec village, orphaned at 3, a shepherd boy who didn't speak Spanish until age 12. Now, he's president of Mexico. Behind him, 3 years of civil war, the War of Reform. Liberals against conservatives. His side won. But the prize? A country in ruins. He opens the treasury books. Empty. Mexico owes $80 million to European creditors. Britain wants 69 million pesos. Spain demands nearly 10 million. France officially claims only 3 million. But there's something else in those ledgers, the Jecker bonds. Jean-Baptiste Jecker, a Swiss banker with Paris connections, gave Mexico's conservative government less than 1 million pesos in cash. In return, they signed bonds worth 15 million pesos. 1,500% markup, pure fraud. Juárez declares them worthless. Then, on the 17th of July, 1861, he suspends all foreign debt payments for 2 years. Every peso goes to rebuilding Mexico, not filling European pockets. The announcement shocks Europe. Paris, summer 1861. Napoleon III stands before a map of the Americas. He's 53, nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, forever in his uncle's shadow. The map shows something crucial. The United States is tearing itself apart. Fort Sumter, April 1861. Civil War. The one nation that might invoke the Monroe Doctrine to keep Europe out is paralyzed. The window is open. Napoleon doesn't care about debt. He wants empire, pan-Latinism, the vision that France should lead all Latin peoples, all Catholic nations, against Anglo-Saxon Protestant expansion. He literally coined the term Latin America in the 1,850 seconds as propaganda for this exact project. In his letter to General Faury, he's explicit. If Mexico preserves its independence under our protection, we shall give to the Latin race beyond the ocean its ancient strength and power. But there's corruption beneath. Napoleon's illegitimate half-brother, the Duc de Morny, is Jecker's silent partner. When Juárez voided those bonds, Morny lost a fortune. Now he whispers in Napoleon's ear, "Make Mexico pay." American intelligence intercepts letters revealing the conspiracy, but it's too late. The wheels are turning. The 31st of October, 1861, the Convention of London. France, Britain, and Spain agree to jointly occupy Mexican ports to collect debts. The treaty is clear. No territorial gains. No interference, just debt collection. It's a lie, at least for France. The 14th of December, 1861. Spanish General Prim lands at Veracruz with 6,200 soldiers. The 7th of January, 1862. French forces arrive with 700 British troops. 3 empires on Mexican soil. But when French officers openly discuss installing a monarchy, Britain and Spain see through the scheme. On the 17th of March, 1862, Prim rejects Napoleon's monarchy plan. April 1862. Britain and Spain withdraw. France stands alone with its imperial ambitions exposed. General Charles de Laurences commands 6,000 elite French troops, Zouaves who haven't lost in 50 years. On the 25th of April, 1862, he writes to Paris with supreme confidence. We are so superior to the Mexicans in race, organization, morality, and devoted sentiments that I beg you to inform the Emperor that, at the head of 6,000 soldiers, I am already master of Mexico. He marches toward Mexico City. One fortified town blocks his path: Puebla. The 5th of May, 1862, Cinco de Mayo. Dawn breaks over Puebla. General Ignacio Zaragoza stands on Fort Guadalupe with 4,000 men. Some are soldiers, many are civilians handed rifles days ago. But Zaragoza has positioned them brilliantly between two hilltop forts, Loreto and Guadalupe. The French must charge uphill through open ground while Mexican defenders fire from protected positions. Among his commanders is 3 one-year-old Brigadier General Porfirio Diaz, guarding the roads into the city. Noon. French artillery opens fire. The ground shakes. For 2 solid hours, French guns hammer the Mexican positions. The world becomes thunder and smoke. Then, silence. Through the dust, blue uniforms appear. The Zouaves are coming. The first assault hits at full charge. These veterans conquered Algeria, fought in Crimea. They've broken fortified positions across 3 continents. They charge uphill with bayonets fixed, certain of victory. Mexican defenders hold fire. Wait. Then, at close range, unleash devastating volleys. The French line staggers. Men fall screaming. Officers shout orders. The charge breaks apart. Lorenzes watches from the valley, disbelieving. His elite troops are being repulsed by peasants. He orders a second assault. Stronger, more men. The Zouaves charge again, stepping over their own dead. The pattern repeats. Mexican fire tears into French ranks. Officers fall. The charge disintegrates. By mid-afternoon, the French have launched 3 major assaults, 3 times thrown back. Now, they prepare for a 4th. But the Mexicans are running low on ammunition. Soldiers shout warnings. This is the critical moment. If the French break through now, the battle is lost. Porfirio Diaz sees the French forming up. He makes a split-second decision. Rather than wait, he'll hit them while vulnerable. He orders his cavalry forward. Hundreds of horsemen thunder down the hillside, charging directly into the French flank just as they begin their ascent. The timing is perfect. The French formation shatters. Panic spreads. Men break and run. The organized assault becomes chaotic retreat. By 7 p.m., it's over. The world's finest army retreats in humiliation. They leave dead on the slopes, abandon equipment, flee to their camps in disorder. The casualty count tells the story. 476 French killed or wounded, 335 Mexican casualties. The French army, undefeated for 47 years, has been beaten. Victory electrifies Mexico. Congress awards Zaragoza a ceremonial sword. The city is renamed Puebla de Zaragoza. Cinco de Mayo becomes Mexico's most celebrated holiday, but tragedy follows triumph. 4 months later, the 8th of September, 1862, General Ignacio Zaragoza dies of typhoid fever. He's only 33 years old. He never sees Puebla fall or the final Republican victory. In Paris, Napoleon III reads the reports with fury, humiliated. His plans delayed, his prestige damaged. He makes his decision: send overwhelming force, 30,000 reinforcements under General Faure. This time, Puebla will fall. This time, Mexico will kneel. The 16th of March, 1863, General Élie Frédéric Faure arrives at Puebla with an army of 30,000 men, artillery batteries, siege equipment, supply trains stretching for miles. This isn't a raid. This is annihilation. General Jesus González Ortega defends the city with 22,000 troops, but everyone knows how this ends. The only question is how long they can hold. The siege begins. For 62 brutal days, French artillery pounds Puebla relentlessly. Every morning at dawn, the bombardment starts. Buildings collapse into rubble. Streets fill with debris. Civilians huddle in cellars as shells rain down. Defenders man the walls under constant fire. On March 29, French forces assault Fort San Javier in a fierce melee lasting 20 hours. Hand-to-hand combat in the trenches. Bayonets and rifle butts. Blood in the dirt. The Mexicans hold, but barely. May 8. A Mexican relief column under General Ignacio Comonfort marches to break the siege. 7,000 fresh troops. Hope surges in Puebla. But Marshal François Achille Bazaine, Napoleon's most capable commander, intercepts them at the Battle of San Lorenzo. His veteran troops cut the relief force to pieces. 800 Mexicans killed or wounded, 1,100 captured. The survivors scatter into the mountains. No help is coming. By May 16, the defenders have exhausted all ammunition and food. Soldiers are eating horses. The wounded fill every building. On May 17, González Ortega surrenders. 2 days later, French troops march into Puebla. The road to Mexico City lies open. June 10. French forces enter the capital to church bells and fireworks. Conservative Mexicans welcome them with triumphal arches. The French have conquered the capital. But between Puebla's fall and Mexico City's occupation, something happened that would become legend in military history. The 30th of April, 1863. A small unit of the French Foreign Legion escorts a supply convoy carrying 3 million francs in gold near the town of Cameron. Captain Jean d'Anjou commands 65 men. Legionnaires from Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, Poland. International soldiers of fortune. At dawn, they encounter a Mexican force. Not a small patrol. 2,000 Mexican troops, 1,200 infantry, 800 cavalry. The Foreign Legion is outnumbered 30-1. Surrounded and cut off from the convoy, d'Anjou retreats to Hacienda Cameron's crumbling walls. At 8 a.m., he gathers his men in a tight circle. Makes them swear a sacred oath on his wooden hand, lost years before in Algeria. We shall fight to the death. No surrender. No retreat. Every man swears. They dig in behind broken walls and prepare to hold against impossible odds. The Mexicans attack. Wave after wave crashes against the hacienda. The legionnaires fight all day with dwindling ammunition. Each shot must count. Each bullet precious. By noon, Captain d'Anjou is killed by a bullet to the chest. Blood spreads across his uniform. Lieutenant Villain takes command. The fighting continues without pause. Villain falls at 2 p.m., cut down by rifle fire. Now Lieutenant Maudet leads what remains. By 6 p.m., only 12 legionnaires survive. Their ammunition is completely exhausted. Empty cartridge cases litter the ground. The wounded lie against walls, unable to fight. Maudet looks at his 5 able-bodied survivors. Men covered in powder, burns, and blood. He knows what must be done. Orders ring out. Fix bayonets, charge. Mexican Colonel Milan, watching this suicidal charge, reportedly exclaims in disbelief, "These are not men, they are devils." Mexican officers, moved by extraordinary courage beyond comprehension, salute the 3 survivors and allow them to keep their weapons as a mark of respect. Mexican casualties range from 90 to 300 depending on sources. The delayed attack allowed the gold convoy to reach Puebla safely. Today, April 30 is Cameron Day, the French Foreign Legion's most sacred holiday. Captain d'Anjou's wooden hand, recovered from the battlefield in 1865, is now their holiest relic. It's paraded annually at Legion headquarters in Aubin. The battle defines Legion identity. Duty above all, sacrifice without question, fighting to the last breath against impossible odds. Every legionnaire knows the story by heart. Meanwhile, President Juárez escapes Mexico City on May 31, heading north with his government. He will never surrender, never compromise, never leave Mexican soil. And Napoleon needs his puppet emperor. He chooses Ferdinand Maximilian Joseph, younger brother of Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph, born the 6th of July, 1832. Handsome, cultured, liberal, speaks 6 languages fluently, essentially unemployed Habsburg nobility searching for purpose. Napoleon shows him fraudulent referendum results claiming Mexicans want him as emperor. Promises sustained French military support. After long hesitation, Maximilian accepts on the 10th of April, 1864. His wife, Charlotte of Belgium, takes the Spanish name Carlota, born the 7th of June, 1840. Brilliant, ambitious, fluent in 5 languages. This crown is her chance to prove herself on the world stage. The 28th of May, 1864. They arrive at Veracruz. The reception is cold. Yellow fever ravages the port. Liberal townspeople give them sparse welcome. But June 10, their entry into Mexico City is spectacular. Fireworks, celebrations, thousands cheering. Maximilian is crowned emperor at the Metropolitan Cathedral. The Second Mexican Empire is born. But it rests entirely on French bayonets, not Mexican hearts. And already, in the mountains and deserts, guerrilla fighters are preparing for a different kind of war. Maximilian wants to be a liberal emperor, a reformer. He refuses to restore the Catholic Church's vast landholdings, maintains religious freedom, tries to abolish debt peonage. The conservatives who invited him are furious. This isn't what they wanted. The liberals hate him because he's still a foreign puppet propped up by French soldiers. Then, on the 3rd of October 1865, under relentless French pressure, Maximilian signs the Black Decree. Anyone bearing arms against the empire will be executed. On October 21, Generals José María Arteaga and Carlos Salazar are shot under this decree. The liberal emperor executes Mexican patriots. He pleases nobody. While Maximilian struggles with impossible politics, President Juárez runs a government in constant motion. His capital becomes wherever he stands, Mexico City to San Luis Potosí, then Saltillo, then Chihuahua. By August 1865, he's retreated to El Paso del Norte, a frontier town on the Texas border. For 9 months, Mexico's legitimate government operates from a post office building. U.S. Fort Bliss commanders offer asylum across the river. Juárez refuses. He will remain on Mexican soil. His famous declaration becomes Mexico's creed. Among individuals, as among nations, respect for the rights of others is peace. And everywhere French forces go, guerrilla warfare bleeds them dry. Mexican fighters, perfect insurgent tactics. They ambush convoys on the deadly Veracruz, Mexico City road, where yellow fever and typhoid kill as efficiently as bullets. Hit-and-run attacks on isolated garrisons. Efficient intelligence networks where villagers report French movements and provide shelter to Republican fighters. They avoid set-piece battles, practicing mobile warfare in mountains and deserts. Mexico's vast distances and brutal terrain become weapons against the occupiers. The occupation becomes a nightmare. Supply lines are constantly cut. Patrols vanish in the countryside. French officers write home about the impossibility of holding territory against an enemy that melts into villages. Marshal Bazaine creates a contre-guerrilla unit of 850 men notorious for brutal tactics. It fails completely. One French Foreign Legion battalion loses 93 men to desertion in a single day near the Rio Grande. By 1866, desertions outnumber combat casualties. The financial bleeding is unsustainable. By 1865, occupation costs 60 million francs annually. French legislators denounce keeping a tenth of the army tied down. The public demands withdrawal. 2 Republican commanders emerge as legends. Porfirio Díaz is captured twice, at Puebla in 1863 and Oaxaca in February 1865. He escapes both times and raises new armies. In 1866, he recaptures Oaxaca. General Mariano Escobedo commands the Army of the North. Born poor, he rose from muleteer to supreme commander. He fights in over 147 battles. On the 1st of February 1867, at the Battle of San Jacinto, he defeats conservative General Miramon decisively. 2,000 enemy casualties. Republican forces are winning. Then everything accelerates. April 1865. The American Civil War ends. General Ulysses S. Grant dispatches 50,000 battle-hardened veterans under Philip Sheridan to the Rio Grande. His message is blunt. Establishing monarchy in the Americas is an act of hostility against the United States. Secretary of State Seward demands France specify withdrawal. Sheridan ships 60,000 American rifles to Juárez. Mexican Republicans suddenly have modern weapons. The 3rd of July, 1866. The Battle of Königgrätz. Prussia shatters Austria in one day. Napoleon needs every soldier home to face the Prussian threat. On the 22nd of January, 1866, he announces French withdrawal from Mexico. Carlota refuses to accept defeat. She's been ruling as regent while Maximilian tours provinces. This empire is hers. The 8th of July, 1866. She boards a ship for Europe to save it through personal diplomacy. Maximilian accompanies her to Ayotla, a small town outside Mexico City. They say goodbye on a dusty road. A long embrace. Neither realizes this is their last moment together. Then she's gone, sailing toward Europe and madness. She arrives in Paris on August 8, meets Napoleon III multiple times. He's immovable. At their second meeting at St. Cloud Palace, Carlota delivers an impassioned speech. Overwhelmed, she throws herself into an armchair, sobbing hysterically. First, visible signs of breakdown. Napoleon replies coldly, "Mexico is an abyss in which France is sliding. I must stop it." His council rejects all support on August 18. The empire is doomed. Carlota travels to Rome, increasingly paranoid, insists spies are poisoning her, sees assassins everywhere. September 27, she meets Pope Pius IX. Dressed in black, she whispers desperately, "Holy Father, save me. I have been poisoned." Pius refuses to intervene. 3 days later, September 30, she returns hysterical. At a Vatican fountain, she drops to her knees, scoops up water with her hands, drinking greedily. "To the Vatican!" she cries. She bursts into the Pope's office during his meal, rushes at his steaming chocolate, sticks her fingers in and sucks them. "I'm so hungry, but I don't dare eat. They're all trying to poison me." The Pope maintains composure. She spots a silver goblet. "Give it to me, Most Holy Father, so I can drink without poison." He hands it to her. Crying, she throws herself at his feet, refuses to leave, begs to spend the night. Breaking all rules, the Pope has a bed moved into the library. Carlota becomes the first woman to sleep in the Vatican. October 10, her brother takes her to Miramare Castle. A doctor diagnoses madness with fixed ideas of persecution. The 6-year-old empress has descended into permanent insanity. In Mexico, the 12th of March, 1867, the last French troops leave. 28,000 men in 8 weeks. Maximilian is abandoned. His advisors beg him to flee, but his mother urges him to remain. He cannot honorably desert his people. He retreats to Querétaro with 9,000 troops. March 5, General Escobedo surrounds the city with 40,000 Republicans. The siege lasts 71 days. April 27, General Miramon leads a desperate counterattack. Initial success. Then Republican reserves crush it. May 14, Colonel Miguel Lopez, commanding Maximilian's bodyguard, makes a secret deal with Escobedo. That night, he opens the gates. Republican forces pour through. Morning of May 15, Maximilian is captured. The Emperor of Mexico becomes a prisoner. A military tribunal convenes at Querétaro's Teatro de la República. Maximilian stands trial alongside Generals Miramon and Mejia for treason. The 13th of June, 1867. All 3 sentenced to death. International appeals flood in. Victor Hugo, Garibaldi, Queen Victoria, European crowned heads, President Andrew Johnson, all petition for clemency. Juárez refuses every one. Nearly 50,000 Mexicans died fighting the French. Their sacrifice demands justice. He tells an aide, "The inevitable failure of history will judge us." The execution is scheduled June 17 at 3 p.m. Maximilian prepares himself, writes final letters, makes peace with death. Then a reprieve arrives, postponed to June 19. Maximilian, who had steeled himself, exclaims, "This is hard, for I had already finished with the world." The 19th of June, 1867. Maximilian wakes before dawn at Cerro de las Campanas, receives last sacraments at 5 a.m. His hands tremble as the priest administers communion. Then his final breakfast: coffee, bread, chicken, red wine. He eats slowly, knowing these are his last earthly pleasures. He calls Dr. Bash, removes his wedding ring, hands it over with his rosary and scapular. "For my mother in Vienna," he writes his final letter, "Sweet, darling mother, steadfast in my faith and loyal to my honor, I go towards an undeserved death with a clear conscience. My last thoughts I reserve for my dear, poor Charlotte, and for you, beloved mother." 6:30 a.m. His escort arrives. Maximilian goes pale, but steadies himself. He walks with dignity between Miramon and Mejia. Crowds line the route. Some weep, some cheer. Most stand in silence, watching history unfold. At the execution site, Maximilian makes one final gesture. He places Miramon in center position, the place of honor. A brave soldier is respected by his sovereign. Permit me to yield you the place of honor. Miramon's eyes fill with tears. To trembling Mejia, whose pregnant wife has been begging for his life, Maximilian says gently, "General, what has not been rewarded on earth will be rewarded in heaven." He produces gold coins bearing his image as emperor, places one in each executioner's palm, 15 coins, 15 men. Then his final request, "Please, do not shoot me in the head. Aim for my heart so my mother can see my face one final time." 6:40 a.m. Ferdinand Maximilian Joseph von Habsburg stands straight and speaks clearly. "I forgive everyone, and I ask everyone to forgive me. May my blood be for the good of the country. Viva Mexico! Viva la Independencia!" The rifles fire. Thunder echoes across the valley. All 3 men fall. But something goes wrong. 6 bullets pierce Maximilian, but all miss his heart. He lies breathing, blood pooling, suffering terrible agony. A soldier steps forward with a pistol, fires. The bullet strikes but isn't fatal. The pistol jams. He tries again. Still won't work. Only the 3rd attempt pierces Maximilian's heart. The Archduke dies at age 34 on a hillside far from home. When news reaches Europe, Carlota is told her husband is dead. The 7-year-old widow has 59 more years ahead, all in madness. She's moved to Buchout Castle, where Leopold II oversees her care. She never recovers, lives believing Maximilian will return any day, writes him 400 letters in 1869 alone. For 6 decades, drinks from fountains with the Pope's stolen silver goblet. On the 19th of January, 1927, Carlota dies, aged 86. She outlived Maximilian by exactly 60 years, waiting for an emperor who would never return. The 15th of July, 1867. Juárez returns to Mexico City triumphant. The Republic is restored. The Monroe Doctrine gains real teeth. Seward enforced it with 50,000 troops, and the ultimatum, withdraw or fight. Europe learns the U.S. won't tolerate imposed governments in the Americas. Maximilian's execution marks the end of European monarchy attempts in Latin America. 3 years later, Napoleon III is captured at Sedan by Prussian forces. The Second Empire collapses. The Mexican disaster exposed France's weakness at the wrong moment. Over 300,000 Mexicans died. France lost 6,654 soldiers. The intervention cost 60 million francs annually. The ironic legacy? Though empires fell, though Maximilian's monarchy collapsed in blood and madness, the propaganda term Latin America survives today. Perhaps the only lasting achievement of the catastrophic venture. 3 lives destroyed, an empire fallen, a continent forever changed. En Cerro de las Campanas, the bells still echo with the memory of an Austrian archduke who died proclaiming Viva Mexico in a land that never wanted him, abandoned by the French emperor whose ambition doomed them all.